Hi, Eddie with a Mindful Emergence here. Well, today is November 18th, and it's been about a week since the Senate and the House of President has put into law this ban on THCA products that's supposed to take effect in a year. And I've been sitting here going, should I talk about this? And I've been getting comments on my videos saying, Eddie, please talk about this Senate bill and what it means. And Margaret this morning said, Eddie, you need to do a video on this. And the truth is, I haven't really known what to say, but I do believe that we need to be activists for cannabis reform, legalization. We need to be advocates, if you don't like the word activist, for access to this incredible plant. Now, the picture that I put in, I chose that deliberately because that's a picture of me, I'm guessing 1968, 69, and it was absolutely taken at a protest that I was at because I was an activist back then against the Vietnam War and pro civil rights and pro women's rights and so on. Well, I'm in a different stage of life now, and I'm not so keen on going out and organizing major demonstrations like I did back then. And maybe you aren't either. And maybe you think, this doesn't really affect me. I'm in one of those 24 states that's legal. I can walk into a dispensary, no problem. This isn't probably going to affect me. Or maybe you're in a place like Florida where it's not been legalized, but you have medical marijuana. So, and I understand it's pretty easy to get a card down there. True, I don't know. So you're thinking, oh, this doesn't affect me. Or maybe you grow your own. All right. And I want to say this. I've seen a lot of comments on videos where people keep saying, grow your own, grow your own. Don't go to those dispensaries. Well, not all of us can grow our own. And there's various reasons for that. And I think if you're a grower, good for you. Yeah, that's the ideal situation, farm to table, and you don't have to spend money in dispensaries or with your cousin Joey, you know, who's growing it for you. But you need to accept the fact we can't all grow our own, okay? So, this affects, I think, everybody because if you think this is the end of the attack on this plant, forget it. Think about the power of big pharma. You don't think big pharma is behind this? And what about the alcohol industry? It's no mistake or accident that a major proponent of this, and I understand maybe the force in pushing this through, was Mitch McConnell, who's from Kentucky. All right, here's a quiz. You get one chance to answer this. What state in the United States produces more liquor than any other? Gee, I think that's Kentucky. Oh, who's the senator? Oh, yeah, that McConnell guy. So let's not be naive and understand that this is an all-out war against this plant by organizations, companies, businesses, forces that see it as a threat. And this has been going on for a long time, one way or the other. This stigmatization, or whatever that word is, and demonization of cannabis started back in the 20s with this guy, Harry Anslinger, who was this government official who started basically a racist campaign against cannabis because there were primarily African American musicians using this. And they thought that these black guys were going to get the white girls high and seduce them. And it goes all the way back to then. And then, of course, in the 60s, when the government went nuts because they discovered when people were smoking grass and pot, they called it, and by the way, also doing LSD, that it was shifting their consciousness and having them question authority. And Nixon couldn't have that. So this has been going on forever, and the attacks have come from all different angles. So if you're wondering, okay, Eddie, tell me how to be an advocate, how to be an activist. I don't have the playbook. I don't know what that is for you, but we all need to recognize that this is a threat on our right to use this plant that's so effective for so many things. All right. And okay, we've got a year before what is it, a $30 billion industry crumbles, I got to believe that the forces at play will stand up to this and we'll be able to go into dispensaries and get THCA a year from now. How's that going to happen? I don't know. Am I a dreamer? Am I being unrealistic? Maybe, but I like to think that we can push back against this and make changes. And I know some of you think, THCA, what's the big deal? I had a friend come over to the house a few days ago, and he's a musician. He's a good friend, a good guy, and he happens to be the local reefer man. All right. Well, if you're a jazz fan, particularly if you remember and follow jazz back in the areas of the 20s and 30s, you know what a reefer man was. He was the guy that all the musicians went to cop. And so I'm talking with this gentleman. And by the way, we didn't get high together. He was telling me that THCA stuff is all crap. All that stuff in the dispensaries is being sprayed. It's no good. Well, I went into a dispensary, I think the next day, and I asked the guy, how much of this stuff is being sprayed? And he goes, a lot of it is. So I don't know, but I know that for years now I've been using THCA and it's been very helpful to me. And I've talked to countless people who are using THCA and have found it helpful, whether it's for sleep or pain management or a tool for meditation or whatever it is. So we need to preserve access to this. All right. So here's what I'm saying. Think about what it is you can do. All right. Regardless of where you are. Maybe, I mean, I get comments from people who live in foreign countries, whether it's a place where it's legal, or I saw a comment today from Russia. I can't believe it's legal in Russia, but yet, here in the United States, we have issues as well. So stop and ask yourself, what can I do? Maybe it's just having a conversation with people. I don't know. I don't have answers to this, but I think it's an important conversation. And I figured just because I don't have all the solutions for you, I don't have a playbook, doesn't mean we can't start that conversation. And by the way, I want to say this. For the most part, the comments that I have found on this channel have been respectful and fine. I've only deleted a couple that were really over the top. So let's keep the conversation respectful and civil. All right. This doesn't have to be a partisan conversation. We don't have to talk about Republicans and Democrats. What we can do is make this solution oriented. So if you have thoughts, if you have suggestions, please put them in the comment. We need to talk about this. We need to take action, whatever that looks like, to preserve access to this plan. Okay? Thanks for listening.